Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for August 17th through 23rd. This week I read 2 books, I watched 2 shows, I watched 1 live production, I watched 1 movie, and I listened to 2 books. Apologies all around for everything about the quality of this video, but I just had to shower, so obviously I look like this. I'm also sweaty because we're in a hotel room that doesn't have any AC and I had to turn off the fan so you'd actually be able to hear me. And this lighting kind of makes me look like I'm a ghost, which is fun. But I'm also on a tight time schedule because I have to go to the closing matinee of a production from the company that I'm currently on the board of. And that means that if this goes up later than you're used to, it's just because the internet in this hotel room didn't exactly upload it fast enough for me to caption it before having to leave. With all that said and done, let's get into what I read. The first book was Witchy Stitching. This is a collection of 25 different cross stitches that are kind of cute and kind of witchy. I actually used a couple of the elements from a few different of these cross stitches to make something this week, and I thought it was really cute. This also gives you a lot of the background on what is cross stitching, how do you cross stitch, all those types of things, as well as the patterns, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm going to have to make way more than just this, but I actually bought a frame specifically to put a cross stitch in, and then kind of figured out some elements from this book that would work in the space that I had. I am so sweaty right now. The next book I finished is Cantoras. This is about lesbians in Uruguay in the 70s, 80s, and up until today. This follows 5 friends who go on a beach vacation to kind of leave the dictatorship of their main city behind, although they can't really do that because all of Uruguay is a dictatorship. And then what they find at this beach is this magical location where they finally feel like they can be themselves and they don't ever want to leave. This is all about their friendships, their makeups, their breakups, building things together, how they were able to build those things together in the first place, different family dynamics. All of them are queer. This was absolutely wonderful. It's also written in such a flowy way where you're just kind of constantly going between these different perspectives and figuring out things about their current lives or their past lives, and it does it so seamlessly. This does mean that occasionally I'd be confused and be like, which one is this character again? Oh, this is the character that's like this. Okay, that makes sense. That could just be a me thing, or it could just be that I've had to like stop the book and then start the book again, and I don't remember exactly whose perspective I was in and what they were talking about when I left off. All of these things were easily rectified though. The writing in this is absolutely exquisite. As for the shows I watched this week, of course I watched more Silent Witness. I didn't actually write down how many episodes I watched, but I watched a few. I had a pretty busy week, so I probably only watched upwards of 3 or 4 arcs, and I believe I'm in the 23rd season. In fact, I think last week I told you I had finished the 21st season when I had finished the 22nd season. At this point, I don't think any of you actually care. You're probably just happy for me that I'm really enjoying this show, and I'm gonna be bummed out when I get to the end of the 27th season and there's no more, except for the fact that there should be more eventually because it is still ongoing. The other show I watched a couple of episodes of was Taskmaster, the most recent season, 19, and I'm still very much enjoying it. I just love this format, so I don't think I'm ever going to come across a point where I don't enjoy it, because the tasks are also engaging and ridiculous, and the people are engaging and ridiculous, so what's not to love? As for the one stage production I watched this week, that was the dress rehearsal and the opening show for Frozen Jr., which is being put on by Rainbow Youth Theatre, which is a company I acted for in my teens quite a lot. It was quite a lot to do with my upbringing in the Comox Valley. So about a year ago, when we found out that the board was going to fold because there weren't enough people to be on the board and to continue it because of things that happened after 2020, a group of us who performed in it before and family members who had also helped out decided, let's take over the board, let's put on a show, and our first show, Frozen Jr. The kids are between ages 6 and 13, and they only had 14 rehearsal days, and they put this on, and it's so good. That's where I have to go after this for the very last performance, and then the cast and crew party, and a teardown, so that's a little bit why I'm rushing. One of the fun things is seeing how this is slightly different than the Disney movie, but not all that different. As for the movie we watched last week, one of the best things about this hotel room was the fact that somebody had not signed out of one of their streaming services on the TV. So we watched Heads of State. This is about the American president and the British Prime Minister meeting for the first time, and a lot of shenanigans ensuing. The American president is actually an action star. He was an actor first and then decided to become president, and that happened. And he's played by John Cena with hair, which always throws me off. And then the UK Prime Minister is played by Idris Elba, so you know it's gonna be a good time. And then Stephen Root shows up, which is just always lovely when he shows up in things. There was at least one other actor that I knew the name of as soon as I saw him. It was Jack Quaid. I was gonna say Dennis Quaid's son, but no, he has a name and it's Jack. It's an action movie. There's a lot of really interesting action sequences, and there's a couple of things that were like, wow, that's just definitely green screen. That's not great. But overall, a fun time. As for the books I listened to this week, the first one was Blue-Skinned Gods. In this one, we start off following a boy who is about to turn 10 years old, and he's been told all of his life that he is the reincarnation of a god. He lives in India, he has blue skin, and he lives in an ashram where his family has followers come to the ashram, stay with him, be blessed by him, and he heals people. We as the audience kind of get the idea early on that he's probably not a god, but obviously if you've been raised to believe this your entire life, you're probably going to believe it until you can't believe it anymore. And I spent the entire book just feeling really mad and sad for this character. This is quite an extensive book. It goes for quite a while until he's in his early 20s and actually figures things out and all of that. And then the weirdest thing about this book is it just kind of ends. And I didn't know how to feel about that, but overall, this book was really, really interesting. The other book that I listened to this week is Puzzleheart. This is all about a non-binary kid who really wants to help out their dad because he's been going through some things. His company kind of folded. They've been struggling financially. His dad seems to maybe have depression, and he's just like, okay, maybe we can go meet my grandmother and she'll know how to help my dad. Now, Peregrina's never actually met their grandmother, but she lives in this big, interesting house that was supposed to be a bed and breakfast, but then her husband died, aka the grandfather to this child. And they built this house together to be kind of this big puzzle, interesting experience, and the house itself kind of has a soul, and as you get there you kind of learn that it also has a point of view in this story. What comes next is these characters trying to solve these problems so the house will leave them alone, but also the house really wants specific things for its owner. This was absolutely delightful. I enjoyed all of the characters, including the characters that were kittens and just a cat. There was one kitten in particular named Banana Peel because he's always underfoot, and it was just so cute every time he was on the page. This was all about friendship and loss and asking for help and how parents are supposed to be able to help their kids and all of those good things, and it was just delightful. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you happen to be on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that, as always, is down below. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!